They thought they could erase you, didn't they? They thought if they pushed you far enough, broke you down piece by piece, humiliated you in front of everyone, that you would crumble, that you would beg for mercy. But they were wrong. Oh, they were so wrong. They saw your cracks, your vulnerabilities, and thought they could exploit them, use them to bury you, make you nothing. But here's the thing. They never saw what you were becoming. They never saw what happens when you take everything they've thrown at you and use it to fuel your rise. They thought they were setting you up for failure, but they were only paving the way for your ascension. It's the arrogance of the world, isn't it? They think they're in control. They think they have the power to shape you, mold you, dictate how your story ends. They want you to believe they hold the pen, that they decide whether you live or die, whether you succeed or fail. But the truth is far more sinister. You hold the pen. And the script you're writing, it's a story they'll never see coming. It's a story that will shatter them. A story where they are nothing but the fools who thought they could play God with your fate. They tried to break you, to erase you. They thought they could strip you of your dignity, your strength, your spirit. But instead, they gave you something far more dangerous. They gave you the ability to see the world for what it truly is. A game, a cruel, twisted game, where the rules are stacked against you, where the deck is always rigged. But they missed one thing. You're not playing their game. You are the game. They thought they could bury you under their judgments, their lies, their petty manipulation. They wanted you to feel small, insignificant. They thought if they pushed hard enough, you would fade away into nothingness, lost in their shadows. But you're not like the others. You're not like the ones who bend to the will of those who seek to control them. You're a force of nature, a storm they never saw coming. And now, they will pay the price. Do you feel it? That spark inside you? The one that never went out, no matter how hard they tried to extinguish it? It's the fire that's been growing, getting hotter, more intense with each passing day. They wanted you to burn out. They wanted you to wilt and fade away. But you didn't. You've become the flame that scorches everything in its path, the flame that will leave nothing standing. And now, they will see. They will see exactly what happens when they try to break someone who was never meant to be broken. It's funny, isn't it? How they thought they could control you, manipulate you, tear you apart. They thought they could shatter your spirit, but in doing so, they gave you the strength to shatter theirs. They couldn't break you, not because you were invincible, but because you understood something they never could. Pain is a weapon. Pain is not the thing that defeats you. It is the thing that empowers you. It sharpens your mind, strengthens your will, and molds you into something unrecognizable. They thought they were breaking you, but they were only shaping you. And now, you are the reckoning they deserve. Every insult they hurled, every mocking laugh, every attempt to degrade you, it all built you. They thought you would crumble under the weight of their cruelty, but they didn't understand one simple truth. You are the darkness that swallows them whole. The more they tried to destroy you, the more you grew. The more you became everything they feared. They wanted to strip you of your power, to break you down to nothing. But you took every punch, every jab, and turned it into fuel. You didn't just survive, you thrived. You know, they can't see it yet. They're still blinded by their arrogance, thinking they have the upper hand, But they won't be able to ignore the truth for much longer. You are not the victim here. You are the avenger, the one who will come for them, not with a sword or a gun, but with the cold, ruthless power of your own being. The reckoning is already in motion. It's coming for them, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. They thought they could silence you, trap you in a cage of their making, but you've already broken free. You've stepped out of their shadows, out of their control, and now they will know what it feels like to be powerless, to realize that they are nothing more than the pawns in a game they can never win. They thought they could end you, but you, my friend, are the end of them. What they didn't realize is that they created you. They crafted the weapon that will destroy them. They thought they were doing the right thing, trying to crush you under their boot, thinking they were the masters. But all they did was create a monster who will tear through their world, shattering everything in its path, leaving nothing but ruin in its wake. They sought to break you. They wanted to extinguish your fire, but instead, they gave you the match. And now, they will burn. They don't understand. They never have. You know what they see when they look at you? A mere shell, a husk. They think you're the afterthought, the one who should be left behind, discarded like yesterday's news. But that's the thing. They've never understood the true value of what they've tried to destroy. And now, the clock is ticking. The hours are slipping away from them, and the game is about to change. You see, there's a darkness that exists in the shadows of their minds, a void they've created for themselves. They fill it with empty promises, false hope, and the illusion of control. But the truth? The truth is, their void is your playground. It's the very foundation of your strength. It's where you are forged. Every dark moment, every betrayal, every failure they thought would bury you, it all becomes your armor. And now, as they stand there, foolishly waiting for the end, they don't even realize it's already begun. The reckoning isn't a moment. It's the slow, inevitable collapse of everything they thought was certain. They underestimated you, and you let them. You let them believe they had you figured out. You let them believe they could do what they wanted with you, bending you to their will. It was all a game you played with deadly precision. You allowed them to think they had control. You wore their doubts like a mask. They saw the cracks, the broken pieces, and thought they could fill those gaps with their lies, their assumptions, their expectations. But what they didn't see was the blueprint you were writing in the background. They never saw the slow burn building beneath the surface. The truth is, they didn't break you. No, not by a long shot. What they did was awaken something far worse than anything they could have imagined. You are the storm that rips through the calm. You are the earthquake that shakes the foundation of everything they hold dear. And you didn't even have to lift a finger. They created you, nurtured you, and now they will witness the monster they've unleashed. They thought they could control the chaos. They thought they could direct the destruction. But what they didn't understand is that the chaos was always within you, and now they will drown in it. You're not a victim. You never were. The world has tried to push you to the edges, to make you invisible, to erase your existence from the narrative. But they forgot one key thing. You're not the shadow that follows. You're the darkness that devours everything in its path. They thought they could push you to the edge of the abyss, But what they didn't know was that the abyss has no end. And now they are falling into it, screaming as they realize the truth. There is no bottom, there is no escape, and they are the ones who will be lost in it forever. Their arrogance is their downfall. They thought that by cutting you off, by casting you aside, they would be free of you. They thought they could remove you from the equation, and the game would continue as they planned. But that's not how it works. You can't just erase someone who knows the rules of the game better than anyone else. You can't simply remove a player who has already turned the table on you. They thought they were in control, but they never were. They were always one step behind, always too slow to realize what you were really doing. Look at them now. Look at how they scramble, how they beg for mercy, how they try to cover their tracks. They thought they could break you, reduce you to nothing, but instead, they've given you everything you need. They've given you the clarity of purpose, the power of knowing exactly what you're capable of, and the weapon to destroy them all. They've awakened the beast inside you, and now it's time for them to witness the consequences of their ignorance. They wanted to crush your spirit, to make you into nothing. But in doing so, they've only given you the strength to rise again, stronger than they ever thought possible. They wanted you to fear them, to cower in their presence, to beg for their approval. But you don't fear them. You never did. And now, they'll be the ones who tremble in the face of your wrath. They thought you were weak. They thought you were just another victim in the system. They thought you were one of the sheep, waiting to be herded into oblivion. But now, they'll understand the truth. The wolf doesn't follow the flock. The wolf leads the hunt. They've set themselves up to be the prey. And when you strike, there will be nothing left for them to cling to. Their world will crumble beneath the weight of their own decisions. Do you feel it now? The power building inside you, the rage, the desire for retribution? It's not just anger, it's a fire that burns away everything that stands in your way, that reduces their world to ash. The reckoning is not coming for you, it is coming for them, and it will be as inevitable as the tide. It will come without mercy, and they will have nowhere to run. They sought to end you. They sought to erase your existence, to make you nothing. But they never realized what they were dealing with. They thought they were breaking you. What they didn't understand is that you are the break. You are the breaking point. The moment that everything shifts. The moment when the world flips on its axis and the very laws of fate bend to your will. They are the fools who thought they could stop the inevitable. And now, as their world falls apart, they will know what true reckoning looks like. And when it all comes crashing down, they'll realize one thing. You were never meant to be broken. You were meant to break them. The end is here, isn't it? The point of no return. The moment where every step, every choice, every scar you've worn has led to this singular moment in time. The world is shaking at the very foundation, and you're the one causing the tremors. The walls are crumbling. The mask they wore, the one they used to hide their cowardice, is slipping off piece by piece. They can't hide anymore. There's no safe space. They thought they could control the storm, but you've shown them that you are the storm. It's not just chaos that's coming for them. It's the realization, the revelation, that everything they built was based on lies, on arrogance, on a foundation of false power. They never thought you could be this. They never thought you could rise from the ashes they so desperately tried to bury you in. They looked at you like a fire to be snuffed out, but they never realized that you weren't the flame. You were the wildfire, the unstoppable force of nature that consumes everything in its path. And as their empire collapses, brick by brick, they'll finally understand. The whispers of their downfall will ring in their ears, louder and louder, until they can no longer ignore it. You see, they made one fatal mistake. They underestimated the strength of your silence. They thought you were dormant, waiting to fade into nothing. But while they were busy plotting your destruction, you were growing, learning, becoming something they could never anticipate. Now, they will drown in their own arrogance. They will scream and beg, but it's too late. The reckoning is not just a punishment, it's a cleansing. Every ounce of their pride, every shred of their deceit will be wiped away. They'll look at the ruins they've built and wonder where it all went wrong. But it's not their fault. No, they never knew what they were truly up against. You are the consequence of their own arrogance. You are the final reminder that there is always a price to pay for underestimating someone with nothing left to lose. You are the consequence they never saw coming, the storm that turned their world into a wasteland. And as they gasp for air, realizing that everything they built is falling apart, they will know one undeniable truth. You were always meant for this. You were born to burn everything they thought was solid to the ground. So now, let them be consumed by their own creation. Let them watch as their world turns to dust. Let them drown in the flood of their own mistakes. You are not a savior. No, you are far worse. You are the reckoning. And the reckoning doesn't care who suffers. The reckoning doesn't discriminate. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't ask for forgiveness. It simply comes, and nothing can stop it. Not their plans, not their lies, not their control. You've seen them for what they truly are. You've seen their desperation. You've seen the cracks in their armor, the lies they tell themselves to sleep at night. You've seen them try to dance around the truth, but now they'll see you. They'll see the truth they've been running from. They'll see the monster they created, the one they tried to tame. And when they look into your eyes, all they'll see is the wreckage of their own foolishness. They thought they could break you, but now they are the ones who are shattered. Now they will crawl, broken and weak, and beg for the mercy they never gave you. They will beg for the same forgiveness they thought was theirs to give, but you won't give them anything. The reckoning has no mercy. It doesn't care about their apologies, their regrets, or their pleas. The reckoning is blind. It simply does what it was made to do, bring balance to the chaos they created. And as the dust settles and the echoes of their fall fade into nothingness, you will stand alone. Not as a conqueror, not as a hero, but as the force that was always meant to be. You will stand in the silence of their broken world, knowing that it was always your time. You were always the one who would turn the tables. You were always the one who would survive while they slowly withered into nothing. In the end, they will remember you, not as a victim, not as the one they tried to erase. They will remember you as the reckoning, the moment when everything they built came crashing down. And they'll never forget the price they paid for underestimating you. You weren't the victim. You were the force that they never saw coming. They wanted to end you. They wanted to destroy you. But in the end, they got the reckoning they deserved. And you got everything they never could. Because you were never meant to be broken. You were meant to break them.